The font, King Things Balloons, because they're all balloons. Do you guys have the balloons?
Nope.
Oh, that sucks for you guys. I have balloons. All right. We will start with two kinds of shapes. Oh, by the way, we don't do any two-dimensional stuff. I do know none of that is in grade 10. So if you want to review your two-dimensional surface area, I call your attention to your data booklet, which has... Please wait while Note loads this printout. Thank you. It's got all the stuff for two-dimensional shapes right there. Cool? So have a look at that. Remind yourself how to do it. But also don't worry, because we're going to be using it anyway. Okay. Oop, wrong one. There we go. The first shape we are going to speak of are prisms, which is also the name of a crappy Canadian band from the 80s. Well, they weren't that bad. Can anybody tell me, it doesn't have to sound mathy, can anybody tell me what a prism is? Other than a crappy Canadian band from the 80s. Don't do it in Portuguese, or don't do it in Spanish. I won't be able to understand you. I thought you were from Colombia. Oh. You're from Bavaria. Well, don't do it in German. I still won't understand it.
So the base is...
Everyone saw that, right? There's a baby running in the hall, yeah? It's not just me?
I didn't see it.
Who? Okay. All right. Sorry, Antonio.
No problem. So the base has, I think, 3 or more edges. And the base is
Yeah.
to the roof.
Yeah.
And they are connected
By what?
by
Yes. Those. You're absolutely right. These. Rectangles. Yes. Antonia said it almost perfectly. Except we're going to, I'm going to change it slightly. Before I go on, I need to call your attention to this line right here. Area is 2 dimensions. Length and width. Okay? When you have something on your desk, you are covering a certain part, an area of the desk. Okay? The paper has 3 dimensions. Length, width, and it's a little bit thick, isn't it? But what it's covering on your desk only has 2 dimensions, a length and a width. Everybody with me? Okay. So, to slightly tweak Antonio's definition, first of all, a prism is 3-dimensional. It is a 3-dimensional construct, which means it's built from other things. All right? And here's what it is. Now, Antonio stressed that it had to have 3 edges, he said. I would change that slightly to include circles, because circles have infinite edges, right? So I'm going to change it slightly to this, all right? 3 or more. Good call. I didn't hear the or more. Lawyer ball. Well done. 2 identical parallel faces separated by a rectangle, or separated by rectangles. So I give you an example. Pretend this textbook doesn't have the little, pretend it's perfect. You with me? Top? What shape? Rectangle. Bottom, what shape? Rectangle, exactly the same, yes? Are they parallel? Yes, they're never going to touch, are they? And what's separating them? What shape is that? What shape is that? What shape is that? What shape is that? Prism. Got it? That's the easiest one. Rectangular prism. And there's a bunch of things like that, yeah? So let's draw a couple of them. People always get mad when I say draw a 3D shape. I can't do it. Yes, you can. Draw a rectangle. Draw just the L of another rectangle. Then connect the dots. Rectangular prism. Yay! When I was in grade 2, there was one kid that could draw 3D, because it's not really 3D, right? It's still 2D, but it looks 3D. One kid that could draw that way, we thought he was a wizard. We were like, oh, Chris, can you draw a cube on my binder? I know, right? That's how lame it was in grade 2 in 1982. Like, we thought the kid that could draw cubes was super cool. Now the kid in grade 2 that can, like, program a video game is cool. But in 1982... Oh, yeah. Is it coming out of the page upwards or going into the page backwards? Whoa. Chris Watkinson. That was his name, Chris Watkinson. I remember it well because Chris Watkinson was a real douche. But he could draw 3D things, so everyone was like, oh my God, Chris is so cool. I should find him on Facebook. See if he's still a douche. That would be funny. No, because I don't want to do that. I don't want it to come up where it shows on his Facebook link. People you may know, and I show up because I was in grade 2 with him. He probably doesn't even remember me. It's always a danger of Facebook stalking. It shows up on the other person's feed. You might be friends with so-and-so. I hate that guy. What the hell? Because computers aren't right. Those of you that are in my class before, what's the movie I hate the most? What's the movie I hate the most? What's the movie I hate the most? None of you? 3 of you? Alicia, what's the movie I hate the most? I always make fun of it. No, I make the fun of one specific movie because all you kids went to see it. You spent millions and millions of dollars to see it, even though there's people starving in the world. Sean, what's the movie? Paul Blart Mall Cop. Why? Really? I can't even begin to talk to you right now. Paul Blart Mall Cop is the most evil movie ever made. It's not that old. And then they made a sequel of it, which made me get angry all over again. Anyways. I don't even know why I started this now. Oh, I do remember. I hate Paul Blart Mall Cop. I hate it so much. If I had power, you know how in Fight Club you find out that Tyler Durden wants to destroy all banks? If you've seen Fight Club, you know that answer. If you haven't seen Fight Club, go see Fight Club. It's awesome. If I had one superpower, it would be to go back in time, find the people that made Paul Blart Mall Cop, and pay somebody else to get rid of them. So that movie never existed. And its sequel. That's how much I hate the movie. I wouldn't go back and solve like real problems. Like I wouldn't go back and fix hunger or change the Industrial Revolution or something like that. I would go back and deal with Paul Blart Mall Cop. That's how much I hate it. I got a Netflix email recently. This is how much Netflix, how good data collection is for Netflix. Hey, Matthew, we've got a new movie that you might be interested in. And I clicked on it. Paul Blart Mall Cop. And I went ape. I was screaming, I was yelling, I was walking around the house swearing. I showed my wife the screen of the computer. She's like, ha, that's hilarious. Last year, one of the kids got me Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 for Christmas. I know, it was a good joke. I liked it. Anyway, of course I do. It lives in my rugby bag in case I ever need to watch it. Just in case I'm on a bus, driving somewhere, and it's got a DVD player, and we're on a rugby trip, and I want to fall asleep. Maybe it's funny, but I don't care. Because Kevin James is a moron. And he's getting another show this year. You're lucky. You're from Germany where they make good movies. Don't see it. See German movies. Hey, have you seen that Austrian horror movie with the mom? You guys haven't seen that movie? The commercial? I can't remember what it's called. But there's these two twins, and their mom goes for surgery, and she comes back and her face is all bandaged up. So they don't know if it's really her or not. I think it's called Mother. Google the trailer for Mother. Just watch the trailer and you will pee your pants. No, because it's math class. I think it's called Mother. It's an Austrian movie. I've only seen the trailer and I'm scared to death. I don't know. I think it's probably too scary for North America. I don't think it'll come here. Because normally what North Americans do is they watch a European movie that's really, really good, but they realize that North Americans are too stupid to understand it. So they change it, and they ruin it, and they resell it as a North American movie. And then everyone's like, this is awesome. And then nerdy movie guys like me, have you seen the original European one? And they're like, no, why would I waste my time? There's only like one explosion in it. That's usually what happens. Transporter, great movie, made by Europeans in Europe. Transporter 2, crap, made by Americans in North America. Even though it's the exact same movie. Go catch a girl, put her in the trunk of the car, drive somewhere. Right? Babies. I like babies. All right. First one, rectangle prism. Next one, cylinder. Circle. Somebody always says, Mr. Myers, what are you talking about? Circles aren't separated by a rectangle. And then I say, oh, really? And then the kid says, really? And then I say, what shape is that? What shape is that? A cylinder. Circle, circle, rectangle. And then I drop the mic. I know, right? And then the one that really messes kids up because they don't pay attention. The triangular prism. Triangle attached to another triangle. Like a wedge of cheese. Okay? It's not a pyramid. And a pyramid is not a prism. Everybody with me? So guess what the next boxes are going to be? No, we just did prisms, Antonio. You're killing me. We just did prisms, so this one is pyramids. Which are slightly different. Okay? Pyramids are not, I repeat, not just the big stone mountain thingies in Egypt. Okay? Those are a type of pyramid, but there are other pyramids. Everybody cool? A pyramid is a base shape. Now that's the mathematical definition. When I say base, what do you guys think I mean? What does the word base mean to you? The bottom. Everybody with me? You have to get that out of your head. Okay? Base means the shape from which, that's Frau, Mr. Myers, the shape from which we start. Okay? So it's the shape that you start the pyramid from. And the reason I bring this up is because you can have a pyramid turned upside down, which is the Louvre Art Museum in Paris. It is a base shape from which all sides meet at a single point. So it is not the same shape stacked up on top of each other, like a prism, right? This is the same shape. Rectangle, 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 up to the top. A pyramid goes to a point. Everybody got it? How is that different from the triangular prism? Well, this triangular prism is this triangle right here stacked on top of itself, yes? Whereas a pyramid goes up to a roof. So it goes up like this. Make an obtuse angle, make a triangle, connect it. It can also be a cone. Make a smiley face, finish the circle with dots, draw a dunce cap. I'm so glad those things are gone now, because if they had had dunce caps when I was a kid, I would have lived in the corner with one of those things on my head. You don't know what a dunce cap is? Back in the day when teachers were mean, before they beat you, they would make you go sit in the corner and wear a hat because you're stupid. I know, they don't do that anymore. We just care. But back in the day, teachers did that to people because they felt that, maybe if you looked dumb in front of your peers, you would try harder. I don't know. I didn't have to wear one because they didn't exist. I also didn't get smacked with anything except the math textbook in grade 8 by Mr. Posnikoff. But Mr. Posnikoff. Not that I'm harboring any ill will. Mr. Posnikoff's probably a really good guy, but he hit me in the head with a textbook in grade 8. Because I was a pain. Look at me. I can't even do math when I'm the teacher. I can't stop without talking about movies and stuff. The real reason is because I was really bugging the girl who sat behind me, whose name was Elu. She was gorgeous. It was short for Eleuthera. I spent all my time talking to her. All of them. Teacher teaching, writing on the board, I'd just like, because I was totally in love with Elu. Totally. And then I thought, remember I was talking about Chris Watkinson? I'd find out if he was still around and he was a douche. I actually did do a little Facebook creep to see if Elu was still gorgeous. And her Facebook profile is only her eye, which is very pretty. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure it's attached to a very pretty person still, but it's only her eye. I don't know if she's still pretty. But her right eye is gorgeous. All right, let's do some math. This sentence here is very important. One word in it. What is the most important word in that sentence? Exposed area of a solid. So let's discuss this for a minute. What is the surface area of my cup right now? Everything you can see, right? Now what's the surface area? Everything. Picking up what I'm putting down? Everybody good? Okay. If I dip this in a bucket of paint, everywhere paint goes is surface area. If I dip it in a bucket of paint now, pretend this was exactly the right size. There would be no surface inside. Got it? Don't lawyer ball yourself. So, you already know how to do this from grade 9. Most of you will know how to do surface area of most prisms. You may not know surface area of pyramids depending on who your grade 9 teacher was. Okay? Everybody with me? Okay. So let's... No. This is not art class, Antonio. I will never grade you on your drawing. But you do have to know that you are doing the right shape, right? So a cereal box, I'm going to draw it. It's a rectangle. I'm going to name that cereal box Mattios, because I'm Matt. And I love cereal. Okay. Then I got to put in my measurements. Which of these measurements makes sense to be 8? The length or height, the width or the depth? The depth. Now here's the problem. Everybody gets hung up on length, width, depth, which is where, what is what. It doesn't matter, does it? Right now, what would you consider the height of this prism? You would consider it to be this, wouldn't you? Correct? And what would you consider this to be? A length? A width? And what would you consider this to be? A depth. Everybody with me? Everyone agrees? What if I turn it this way? What would you call this? Still the width? What would you call this? Height. What would you call this? Depth. Everybody with me? What if I turned it this way? Everyone picking up what I'm putting down? It doesn't matter what we call it. You just have to be aware that the numbers exist on here in all possible ways. Right? Right? Okay. Do not, I repeat, do not get trapped into length, width, height. Don't get trapped by that. Use your brain. With me? Okay. So we're going to make this 8 because that makes sense. You know what a cereal box looks like. That's the shortest distance. Now, what would you call this? It doesn't matter. You just got to give it one of the numbers. Which numbers go in there, do you think? 40. Okay. And what numbers go in here? 24. Now, a great many of you in the 9th grade probably had to draw nets. Do you remember doing that? You had to take this thing and say, okay, it's got a big rectangle, and then it's got this rectangle, then it's got a big rectangle, then it's got this rectangle, then it's got a rectangle here, it's got a rectangle here, right? You remember doing that? Some people will have done that. You can do that if you want, but I do not care if you do. It was you had to do it in grade 9, technically. You don't got to do it in grade 10. We're going to do it completely mathematically. Everybody cool? All right. So now, if you go to your data booklet and you forget that there's a formula for this, you can find it in your data booklet right there. Now, people always say to me, Mr. Myers, I don't really get surface area. Because of what I just said to you guys. Is this the height or is this the height? Picking up what I'm putting down? That can be confusing to people and it messes up your heads. So what I do is I say, well, just go to this. H, L, W. The H goes up and down, the L goes across, the W goes to the back. So we can go back to our drawing, and in that case, following that rule, right? This is the W, this is the H, and this is the L. If you actually label it, it's impossible to do surface area wrong. Does everybody understand? So if we write out the formula, 2 WH plus HL plus LH, you cannot do it wrong unless you rush. What math is happening there? Multiplication. What math is happening there? Multiplication. What math is happening there? Multiplication. What are you doing with those 3 answers? Adding them up. And then what are you doing? Multiplying by 2. Now here's the mistake most of you are going to make. A, you're not going to write it down. Oh, I can do this. I got it. No problem. First mistake, write it down. Second mistake, you're going to punch it into your calculators wrong. Because you're going to try to do it all in one step. Is it doable in one step? Of course it is. But you got to know what you're actually doing. Picking up what I'm putting down? So I'm going to write this out. because I think that's the best way to do it. 2, WH, 8 times 40, plus HL, 40 times 24, plus LH. Oh, I just did LH and HL. What an idiot. It's LW. LW, 24, and 8. Now, everybody should be able to punch that into your calculator. Most of you have a calculator smart enough to do that if you punch it in exactly as you see it. But some of you don't. So go step by step while you're practicing. 2, do 8 times 40. It's 320. Plus, do 40 times 24. It's 960. Plus, 24 times 8 is 192. Then add that up. Then times by 2. Everybody try that with your calculator. Tell me what you get so I can make sure everybody can make their calculator work with the easiest calculation we're doing in this unit. 2,752. What do you got? 2,944. 2,944. Zach? 2,994. I think you might be wrong, Antonio. And centimeters, what? Squared. Why is it centimeters squared? For area. It is squared because area has how many dimensions? How many dimensions? 2. 2 dimensions. Now somebody always says to me, but Mr. Myers, it's a 3-dimensional thing we're dealing with. But surface area is just the exposed part, right? So it's just this rectangle, which only has 2 dimensions, length and width. And this rectangle. And this rectangle. Picking up what I'm putting down? So even though it's a 3-dimensional figure, area is still given in 2 dimensions. Gouda? Great. 1744. So what does this prove? Everybody got a bunch of different numbers, right? It proves calculator use might be an issue, right? Kiara, what'd you get? You got the 2944? Here's the way I would punch this in one step. 2, bracket. 8 times 4t plus 4t times 24 plus 24 times 8, close bracket, equals 2944. Most of you, if you don't have a calculator that writes out what you see, that's hard to do in one step, right? So I would recommend, like I say, that's why I want you to show your work. Okay? Everybody good? Great. Let's go to the next one. What's number 2? A rectangular pyramid. Right? So I'm going to ask you to draw it. If it's a pyramid and it's called a rectangular pyramid, what must the bottom of it be? A rectangle. That's why it's called a rectangular pyramid. So it's going to be 32 by 48, yes? And it's going to have that triangle and that triangle. Is everybody cool? Right? Now you have to use your brain. Go to your data booklet. Is there a formula for the surface area of a rectangular pyramid? There's a square pyramid, but there isn't a rectangle, is there? That's because there's no formula for it. If there's no formula for it, then how do we solve the surface area? You do it like we did with the rectangle. The rectangle had a formula, didn't it? But when you look at that formula, what was it? Width times W times H. Isn't that just length times width of a rectangle? And then another rectangle, and then a third rectangle, and we multiplied it by 2. What you do, if there's no formula, you find each face's area, and add them up. This is the hardest kind of surface area question with a single shape that you can do. This one. That's why it's in your practice. The hardest one you'll get in grade 10. Okay? So I don't have a formula, do I? So what faces do I have here? What are the shapes I have to deal with? I have triangle, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight that triangle yellow. There's that triangle. Everyone agree? How many of them are there? Are they all the same? No. There's that triangle times 2, correct? Is there another triangle? Yep. There's this triangle. And how big is that? Or not how big is it? How many of them are there? Times 2. And what's left? The bottom, which is a rectangle. And how many of them are there? There's only one, right? So now I can do it because I have a formula for a triangle, don't I? What is a triangle's area? It's on your sheet. The base? Right. Base times height divided by 2, correct? But there's 2 triangles there, isn't there? So I'm going to multiply that by 2. What happens to our 2's? They're gone, aren't they? So there's base times height of the yellow triangle, and that covers both of them, doesn't it? And then there's base times height times 2. I need the base and the height of the blue triangle. And then this guy is just the length times the width of the bottom, correct? Is everybody good? So have we made our own formula? We have, haven't we? All we got to do is put in the numbers. Does the yellow triangle have a base? Yes or no? What is it? 32. Does the blue triangle have a base? What is it? 48. Do we have a length and a width on the bottom? What is it? 32 and 48. Now we have to think. Read that question and tell me if the triangle has a height. Antonio. You only know the height of the pyramid. How many people wanted to say the triangles are 65 high? Nobody? Good. Because it's the pyramid that's 65 high, isn't it? So I have this, because I need this line up the 48, and I have this, because I need this line up the yellow. Do I have a math tool that finds me the side of a triangle if I don't know all three? What is it? Kiara? Pythagoras. You got to know Pythagoras. So the blue guy's height is what? How long is it across the bottom? For the blue guy. It's a trick. You got to think. How long is this? 32. How long is this, which goes halfway? 16. So the blue triangle is 65 squared plus 16 squared, and then we square root it. That gets me the blue triangle's h. The yellow triangle h is what? Still 65 squared plus what? What's this distance? 24. Gets me the yellow triangle's h. Oops. H. Everybody cool? How do I do that on my calculator? And it's not going to give me a pretty answer, is it? So what is my yellow H, or my blue H? It should be around 67-ish. 65 squared. 16 squared. 66.94. So what can we round that off to make me happy? 66.9? 67. So our blue H, we're going to say is 67. Is everyone cool with that? Is it really 67? No, but you've shown me work. I know you know what you're doing. Kiara. The 16? I want the blue height here, right? So I had to go to the middle of the pyramid along the 32 face. No, because I'm only going to the middle of the pyramid. I'm not going all the way across. Cool? Because I'm making this red triangle, right? You good? Okay. Now, a lot of people get mad at me. Every year, everybody gets mad at me. Why did you put this one in the notes? It's so big. Because it's the hardest one you can do. If you can do it in the notes, then you should be able to do everything else, right? How do I find the yellow height? Same way. So my blue height was 67. Oops, I'm still writing in red. My blue height was 67. What's my yellow height? Same thing. 61, somebody's already done it? 69.28, so 69, right? And then what do I do with those three answers? Add them up. And what do you get? Everything's okay. What do you get? This is times. I get 6,960. Is everybody cool? Hardest question you can do with surface area of one shape. Hardest question. But I challenge you to answer this question. Is any single part of it difficult? No. In grade 9, you would have only done one Pythagoras to be like, yes, I can do it. But you just had to do it more than once. Cool? Everybody good? All right. And our final type of pyramid. It's a cone. Do we have a formula for the surface area of a cone? We do, don't we? What is it? Surface area equals pi r squared plus pi r s. Where's the s? It's right here, up the side. Now, you guys are smart kids. Up the side creates what kind of triangle? A 90-degreer. So, is it useful to have Pythagoras along again? It is. Very useful. So, let's check this out. Pi r squared. Do I have an r? What is the r? What is r? Don't give me a number. Tell me what r is. Radius. And what is radius? Halfway across a circle. Do I have that? What is it? Pi 15 squared plus pi times 15 s. Do I have an s here? No. Because what do I have, Antonio? I got the height. So I've got a height of 22, which would go there. And I've got an r of 15, which would go there. What do I do to find the slant? Square root of what? 15 squared plus 22 squared. Who has an answer for me? You can round it off to the nearest whole number. 27 is cool. Everybody good? I'll get that in a moment. Now you have a slant. Where does it go in your formula? Go from higher. I do indeed. I'm sure she can. Okay. Caitlin, you are required to phone home. You can go out to the rotunda, you can go to the office, whatever you need to do. So where does that 27 go? I guess I didn't hang up the phone. Where does that 27 go? That phone's coming out, right? Where does the 27 go? In for the S. Now, guys, I want to call your attention to something here. I don't know if your grade 9 teacher was as crazy about this as I am. Do not use 3.14. Use the pi button on your calculator. Does everybody see where it is? Find it. Make sure you use the pi button. Okay? And then you punch that into your calculator as you see it. Then who has an answer for me? Here's the way I like to do this. I like to leave pi alone till the end. So that's 225 pi, because 15 squared, plus 405 pi to get me an answer of 630 pi. That's how I like to do my work. Because as soon as you hit the pi button, some of you have a calculator that shows your pi button this way. Wake up, calculator. If you have a calculator that actually shows pi, it's real easy to punch this into your calculator. But if you have a calculator that shows 3.14159.724, then this gets difficult to do. That's why I like to leave it till the end. Is everybody okay with that? Now, the question then is, well, what's the actual answer? Well, that's an okay answer. Or you could do 630 times the pi button to get whatever answer it would be, which is around 1900. Right? Everybody cool? Both those answers are acceptable. This one's just prettier. And I'm warning you, in grade 11 and 12 and beyond, you will always leave pi as pi. So it's a good habit to get into now in grade 10. You picking up what I'm putting down? Everybody with me? So now you guys try the cylinder. You've seen how to do it. You've seen the formula. The formula's on your sheet. Cylinder looks like this. What is it really? It's a circle with a rectangle and another circle. So that's why the formula is 2 pi r squared, because there's two circles, plus 2 pi r h. 2 pi r gives you the circumference, and the h is the height. Now here's the problem with that formula. I've already warned you, don't get sucked in by the formula name, right? 2 pi r h. You want to call h height, don't you? Everyone does, yeah? What happens if the cylinder is on its side? Where is the height now? It's still here. Because these are still the circles. They're still 2 pi r. In real life, if I asked you how tall is this cylinder, you would say this, wouldn't you? But in math, we can't do that. Math is limited. So we have named this side the height, even when the cylinder is tipped on its side. Does everybody get it? So you've got a formula. All you got to do is fill it in. Do you have a height? Here, h equals 20. Do you have an r? You haven't been given an r. Can you figure it out? Yeah, because what's r? R is always diameter divided by 2, so it's 10 divided by 2, so it's 5. Now can you fill this in? 2 pi, what's r? 5 squared plus 2 pi, what's r? 5, and what's h? 20. Now, I can't stress this enough, you guys. How many of you feel on the first try you could punch that into your calculator exactly and have it work? Kiara, you feel you would do it? Excellent. And that's okay. However, I warn you, in future, you're not going to be doing that, so you should get used to what I'm about to do. What is 5 squared? 5 times 5. What's 25 times 2? 50. So that is 50 pi. Cool? What's 5? 2 times 5. What's 10 times 20? Plus 200 pi. 50 pies and 200 pies is how many pies? 250 pies. And then you have a perfectly acceptable answer. And it's way less calculator work. Picking up what I'm putting down? Because how many of you have ever sent a bad text to someone? Because you pushed the wrong button, right? I told my friend to wait outside and meet me in a sex. Yeah. What did I want to say? Meet me in a sec. C-E-S-E-C. I told her to meet me in a sex. She said, I don't think Catherine would be very happy about that. Catherine and her friends. It was okay. It was a funny joke. Everybody cool? Can you leave it like that? Yeah. How would you fix that on your calculator? You would go 250 times your pi button and get something like 780. 785? Everybody cool? All right. You guys should have, the next page should be some shapes. Is it indeed? Excellent. And it should be, how many pages is it, Mark, before you get the notes again?
3.
Okay, do those. That's your homework tonight. What? If you're cold, yes. Do you watch your show New Girl? Okay. Then my joke won't mean anything. Okay, so what am I going to do for you guys tonight? I'm going to put these questions on YouTube. Okay? Everybody good? I'm going to put this page up. You can mark your own work tonight. Okay? I am giving out textbooks. If you look on your outline, you don't need a textbook till we get up to the review. Okay? Cool? I'll probably give textbooks out tomorrow because tomorrow's a short day and I don't want to do a lot of notes. Yep. Everybody is still doing well? Where is there another typo?
How much paint will how much paint will need to buy?
That's okay. I won't be angry. See you guys tomorrow.
Almost finished.
See you guys. Yo.
What do you think of this? I made this yesterday.
One sec.
Come on.
Okay, what? You made a code?
New alphabet for English.
New alphabet for English. Why?
Because the current one sucks.
Okay, fair enough. Too many letters?
No, not enough. Not enough letters.
Not enough letters. Why?
This one has, I think it was 36. One for each sound.
Oh, but there's one. There must be more than 36 sounds. I believe
Yeah,
you.
if you include diphthongs, the diphthongs are just two sounds combined together.
Yeah. So you've made a phonetic alphabet.
Basically.
That would help people to learn English, because English is the stupidest language in the world to learn.
Actually, no, Tibetan is a lot.
No, I disagree.
Look up the Tibetan written language.
Look up the English written language.
I already know it.
O-U-G-H. How many different sounds does that make?
I think about 8.
And what's the only sound it doesn't make? The sound it should make. Ooh. Don't tell me English is easy.
Still easier than Tibetan.
I disagree, but I don't speak Tibetan, so.
Yeah, in Tibetan, there was this video that I saw that basically explained how it worked. They haven't had a spelling form in over 2,000 years.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and in Japanese uses 3 systems at the same time.
Yeah, Japanese I know is weird, but they all speak it the same.
Yeah, so
Or is that Chinese that I'm thinking of? Hey,
they
Nikisha.
write the same but speak different.
That's what it is. How are you, Nikisha? See you, Mark.
I'm going home right now because I'm really sorted out. So I was wondering if there's any.
Watch the video.
I watched the video, but there's assignments like worksheets that aren't in the booklet.
Yeah, I gave them out 2 days ago. You don't have them?
I wasn't here on Monday or Tuesday.
You weren't here on Monday either. I knew you weren't here yesterday. I thought you were here on Tuesday. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Assignment. Those are the assignments.
Okay, thank you.
And you'll need today's assignment if you're going home now, but I don't have that printed. So,
Do it tomorrow.
well, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be back tomorrow.
All right. if I carry these lines onwards, then I have a rectangular prism, which has 6, 4, and 22. That would be the surface area, wouldn't it? But I don't have that. So the only thing that's missing is this rectangle right here. So if I do the surface area as because there's 2 of them, 2, 6 by 4 plus 22 by 6 plus 22 by 6 plus sorry guys, my screen just died. I don't know if it recorded that. 6 by 4, 22 by 6, 22 by 6, oh, and 22 by 4, and then I subtract out these 2 rectangles, which are 11 by 2 by 2 by 2, which would cover both of them. Then I get an answer of 24 plus 22 times 6 is 132 plus 22 times 4, which is 88, minus 44. Do all that math. 24 plus 132 plus 88 is 244 minus 44 is going to be 488 minus 44, 444 centimeters, feet squared. Okay. Surface area of a cylinder, 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Two pi 3 squared plus 2 pi 3 8 18 pi plus 48 pi 66 pi. And Jim, who is painting his living room, 1 gallon of paint covers 300 square feet. I'm going to highlight that. If the dimensions of the room are 4.1 meters, 5.3 meters, and the height is 3 meters, how many gallons will I need to buy? Well, meters, meters, meters. Gallon covers feet. So I got to do some converting here, don't I? Now, this is really, really, really tricky because it is covering square feet. So, there's a square. It is 1 foot by 1 foot, And in here is 1 foot square. Okay? Change that to meters. 1 foot is 0.3048. 0.3048. So 1 square foot is actually 0.092 meters squared. And I need 300 of those. So 300. Hey, Genevieve.
Okay, so it's maybe not a full block, but it's a good chunk of it.
Yeah, perfect. All you do is here. So you just have to get the paperwork done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we'll worry about setting up for that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
very much. Yeah.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
Yeah, no worries. The paperwork is just, it's the rules and regs.
Yeah.
It's government, but it has to happen.
I understand.
It's all good.
All right, thanks. See you.
Awesome.
All right, come on.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I am.
56.4 meters squared is the walls I got to paint. 1 can does 27.87 meters squared. So I take that and divide by 27.87 and get 2.02 cans. Now the question is how much paint will I need to buy? 2.02 cans, so I gotta buy 3 cans. Now there's other ways to do this. You could also convert these all to feet and then work it that way. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this same question and I'm gonna do it again, converting these guys to feet. So I had 4.1 meters.
Mr. Mars, is someone ready to give you the answer for the gummy bear?
No.
Remember the multiplication and the multiplier?
Yeah.
Multiplication is the multiplication is the number being multiplied with the first number, and the multiplier is the one that's going to multiply the multiplication.
So 3 times 4
It's 12.
is 12. What's the multiplicand?
3. The multiplier is 2. 4.
Okay, go get yourself 2 gummy bears, Leighton.
Yes. But Angstrom already.
No, you forgot. So I'm going from meters to feet. So I want feet over meters. 1 foot is 0.3048 meters. So 4.1 divided by 0.3048, no problem. So that's 13.45 feet. And then the other one was 5.3 times 1 over 0.3048, which gets me 17.39. And 3 gets me 9.84. So my walls are 13.45 times 9.84 times 2 and 17.39 times 9.84 times 2. 15.45 times 9. 4 times 2 is 264.7, and is 342.24. Added up is 606.93. Divide that by 300, and it's still 2.02 cans, so I still need to buy 3 cans. Okay, guys, that's everything today.